Good evening. Welcome. It's wonderful to be on Gino's spot.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. One drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino's shot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Center Stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday night. Tuesday night in the Eastern Cape. And it's hot as hell, let me tell you. I can't believe it. I'm there in a pool of water here in this place for the last week and a half. I don't know, 3 weeks. I don't know how long it's been. I think we're in line for another 1968 flood, if I'm not mistaken, with so much sun sucking up all the water in the ocean. And it's going to travel along in the clouds and dump itself on PE and East London. Maybe it'll get as far as Queenstown. We don't know, you know. And you know what it's like when you get old. You know when the rain's coming because your joints get all sore, you know. The youngsters don't know about that stuff. They're just on the social media, on the Facebook all day and all night. They don't even know what they never say goodbye on the telephone, you know that, youngsters. You say, okay, you're busy talking to them, all of a sudden they're gone. That's like the Americans on television, you know. We didn't do that in the old days. We all knew our phone numbers, 512164, yes, and the 51 means warmer, or the 32 means Newton Park. I don't know what other ones were there. Put them in the comments, I can't remember. You know, and you wake up in the mornings these days and it's, you know, try and go to the toilet. And it's a hell of a thing, you know. I'd never had that problem, you know. That of my friends have got a problem with, you know, going, you know, doing the thing. That I don't like to talk about that stuff because it's a bit, you know, but, you know, your toilet stuff, you know. And I get up 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning, I pee like a fountain. And 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, my friend says, no, he can't even get anything. I said, at 7 o'clock, I'll pass a thing like, you know, log like a Rottweiler. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. And he said, well, that doesn't sound like a problem to me, you know. And I said to him, yes, but I only get out of bed at 9. That's my problem. You know? And I do try and keep myself fit, though. You know how it is. How do you? I hope you do as well. You're a bunch of lazy bastards. You all are these days. Generation Y and Generation Z. You know, I'm from the silent generation. That was the best one before all the letters in the alphabet came along. Hello, Robert Finley. Stuart Forrest, you our man. It's supposed to be your. You are our man. Just, Robert Finley, you need a little bit of a lesson in grammar, in your use of your grammar, young man. Don't go back and edit that comment. I want Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, please. Thank you very much. And Triggerfish Animations on there saying hello. Lovely to have you. Sean Keegan, now that's a name that I haven't heard for a long time. Hello, Duddies. Hello to you too. I tell you, the crazy crowd grand from East London's here again tonight. Just make sure you take it easy on the dope, old Carol. Let me tell you, because when you start drinking too much and you start making those videos online, you know, Dave Shepherd, PE shines, people, that's right, they do, you know. Most of the people in PE think the sun shines out the backsides. Lorraine Hawes, hello Lorraine, nice to have you here as well. I'm doing that in relation to Barry. Say hello there to all from all of us. Hello all, they say. And you know, I was explaining, I do a little bit of exercise. Obviously, I lift my drink. Thank you to Fitch and Leeds for giving me a little drink tonight. And thank you for Spa as well. I love to go to Spa because then you can talk to people through your masks. And Amobia as well, very nice for our internet. I hope it's all going very nicely and you can see me clearly, eh? Can you see my pineapples? That's right. It's all the way from Bathurst. That's where I get this jacket from Bathurst. Now, what I was telling you about exercise. I've been doing a couple exercises and I can tell you how to do it. What you do is you take potato bags, 2 potato bags, okay? 1 kilogram potato bags. And you hold them out the front. You hold them out the front for approximately 1 minute, or as long as you can. And then what you do is you build it up. So you take 1 kilogram, you get the 2 kilogram potato bags, and you hold it up for 1 minute until you start to shake, and then you take a rest. And then you'll find as you go along, you'll get better and better at holding it up, and your arms will get better, you know. And then you go to the 10 kilo one eventually, you know, and you can hold it up for a minute. And then after you've done it a full minute, when you can hold it for a full minute, then you can put a potato into each bag. And you should be able to start with that, you know. It's quite a long process in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino's Spot. I'm glad you're all here. We got Stuart Forrest on tonight from Triggerfish, all the way from Cape Town, but he's our PE boykie. He's been a PE boykie since he was a tuck. And let me tell you, he's got lots of information to impart with you. Stuart, what colour hawks and Clip Devonish are in the house? Hawks and Clip, I'm so glad to see you bastards are back here and having saying hello tonight to Stewie. Rightio. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get going with a little bit of song. Put some comments in here and I'm going to start singing for you. Hey! Welcome to Gino's Spot, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a bit of fun tonight with Stuart. I've even got his shirts on, check it out. Woo! 30 years in the cupboard. All right. How's the rocks? And Cliff? Hey, little sister, what have you done? Hey, little sister, who's the only one? Hey, little sister, who's your Superman? Hey, little sister, who's the one you want? I've no idea where I am right now. Hey, it's a nice day for Brian Wilkinson. Oh, and Miranda Ferreira is in the house too. Hey, it's a nice day for Clifford Devonish. Woo! Hey, little sister, who is Mike Barwood? Of course, that's Helen Barwood's brother. Saniola. May I ask what accent I had? It was an Eastern Cape Albany English. Stuart Watkins, how's it, Gino? Robert Finley, you're our man. And Alan Berman, good day, mate. All the way from Australia. I think so. Oh, what a delphin dear you are as well. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Killer, 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 killer. Martina Ferreira, Ferreira, Ferreira. Let the show begin, that's right. Woo! Oh, good UK, how's the bloody cold there? It's a nice day to start again. It's a nice day. Wow! Let the Ziggy ride them cow grand style. Wow! Ricardo Bisping's here. He says, like a Gino. And Tracy van Khumba says hello. And oh, start again. Get in for easy. Billie Eilish, I don't know what that means. Jose Pereira pineapples. It's a nice day for Tracy Reader. Greg Fun started says, how's it, Big Greg? Start again. All right. Oh, we're in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino's Spot. We've got a fantastic show tonight because we are looking at Triggerfish and Stuart Forrest, our homegrown, amazing young man, all the way from Port Elizabeth, gone on to Cape Town, and he's going to be He's going to be doing a beautiful explanation of what he's been doing for the last 150 years that he's been away. All right, so what we're going to do is we always do on our Tuesday nights, we have What You Watching, which is pretty good, and we've got a little taste of Triggerfish before the What You Watch. We're going to pretend that Triggerfish is doing the whole thing. We're going to do it. Check this out, Stuart. Here we go.
Once upon a time, on a beautiful farm in the city of Cape Town, a small group of passionate artists and mavericks wanted to bring their stories to the world. And so, Triggerfish was born. We love animated movies. We grew up rooting for the same heroes. We were swept away by the majestic world and felt our hearts in our throats when all was lost. But it never was. Everything was possible, and soon we attracted other artists, writers, directors, and filmmakers who shared the same passion for storytelling, and Triggerfish became the continent's leading animation studio. We built a studio that produced 2 world-class films that screened in over 150 countries. Our stories were translated into 27 languages and seen by millions of people in theaters around the world. Our talented artists and technical crew brought Africa's fresh creative voice to audiences everywhere. We're passionate about great stories with rich characters and a fresh aesthetic from the unique part of the world that we call home. At Triggerfish, we're making our dreams come true. We still have many more stories to tell, and this is just the beginning.
All right, that's a little bit of an intro. But before we get there, we've got our very own Darren Fuller, who's going to be doing What You're Watching. So let's have a look at see what Darren's got up her sleeve tonight. Hello, Darren. Lovely to see you, young lady.
Oh, lovely to see you too.
Indeed. On this Tuesday night, we go ready to have a nice week of watching some series or something. What have you got for us?
Okay, so you know that that one episode where I was speaking about the most bingeable shows ever. Unfortunately, that reminded me of Bones, and I've pretty much just been watching Bones for the last 2 weeks, but I did manage to fit in some things to tell you guys to watch if you're not interested in Bones, but watch Bones. Okay, so what just came out on Netflix last week was The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. It's about a 21-year-old student that went missing in 2013 when she went on a holiday and she stayed at this particular hotel, and it's been a huge mystery for years. There was a video that was released from the elevator security camera that showed this particular student showing really weird behavior, and then she just went missing and they couldn't trace her beyond the hotel. So I don't know if you know the story. I was pretty obsessed with it, but I am fairly interested in true crime. I swear this is fake. It's fake. But it's it's 4 episodes. It is really, really interesting. It goes into a lot of detail, and it does have a fairly good conclusion. Very good, very good. And the Night Stalker actually was staying at the Cecil Hotel during his reign of terror. So very good. Aside from that, I watched over the weekend. I started watching Vibes. Now, I don't know if you guys know the movie Vibes. It's basically as 80s as you can possibly be. So Cyndi Lauper herself is a psychic with a very thick Queen's accent, along with Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblumy. And they have to follow this gentleman into a jungle to try and find his son. And there are mystical elements and pretty bad special effects, but it was fantastic. I found it very charming. I mean, Cyndi Lauper, I swear, I think she actually doesn't want to have fun. I think she is a true psychic, because even in Bones, she's a psychic. Okay, so Vibes was very cute. It was very cute, very enjoyable. I started watching Firefly Lane, which also started quite recently on Netflix, with Katherine Heigl and Sarah Chalke, who, I don't know if you do know, is the voice of Beth in Rick and Morty, so relevant. So Firefly Lane is a very cute story about 2 friends who meet when they're teenagers, and they're very different, but through circumstances and through life, they become great friends, and basically pops between different areas of their lives when they met as children, in their early 20s and their 30s, going through marriage, going through divorce. It's really lovely. Katherine Heigl, who can't love Katherine Heigl, and Sarah Chalke is just charming. So it's a very, very lovely show. I would advise watching that. And then aside from that, these are not new films, but I happened to watch them over the weekend, and they just reminded me of how fantastic they are. Gothica. Like Gothica, I've seen it way too many times for it to be new, but if you haven't seen Gothica, please, it is such an amazing film. It has so many amazing elements to it. Halle Berry is fantastic. Robert Downey Jr. is amazing in everything, but it's just such a unique supernatural crime thriller. I really, really enjoyed it. So I probably watched it for about the 8th time, but I really enjoyed it. So watch that. That is on Netflix at the moment. And then randomly, I read a BuzzFeed article about Julia Roberts, and I saw that Mystic Pizza was also on Netflix, which is one of her first films, and it's really, really cute. I feel like it's what Pretty in Pink didn't get right with the whole rich guy liking the artsy girl vibe. So I think Mystic Pizza is so lovely. It's Julia Roberts' one of her first films, and it's about these girls who grow up in a small town and basically how they go about their lives. It's really, really cute, and it's got a lot of pizza in it, so I would advise it. That's pretty much me, unless you guys want to speak more about Bones.
He's lovely. He's lovely. I like Bones.
Isn't he? Isn't he? He's so cute. I mean, it makes you want to be Shakespearean.
Is it? I mean, you can talk. You can use him like ventriloquist.
Yes. This very not real plastic skeleton, not real, can talk. Yes.
I've been watching Cecil Hotel, great as well, and I thought that for you that you would really enjoy this Wonder Vision. Have you seen Wonder Vision? I
spoke about it. I spoke about it 2 weeks ago, I think. Yes, we are. It's fantastic. I loved it. Yeah. Even from the first episode where you were just like, why are they in a 50s TV show? What is this? But then when you get to like the 3rd or 4th episode, wow.
Yeah, wow. This whole thing opens up. It's amazing. It just opens up like a big... It's amazing.
I'm loving it. And all the guest stars, I'm very happy with it. But you can't say anything because everything's a spoiler.
Yes, it's a spoiler. Yeah, no spoilers here. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
Ciao, Bones. We'll see you next week. All right. Darren Fuller, indeed. Always something strange going on with Darren. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our special guest coming on just in a moment. We have a special introduction from him. Stuart Forrest is homegrown PE. With me, VP88. In fact, this is his shirt. I'm surprising him with his shirt that he made about 30 years ago, I think. 30-something years ago, I think. In fact, he's part of our matric class, and we're very proud. And I know there's a lot of guys on here as well from VP88. Lovely to see you all as well. And Stuart has gone on to do incredible things with Triggerfish, his company. So let's get on with things. Let's have a little bit of introduction.
What do these have in common? A clumsy dragon, a
Stuart,
Gino,
welcome. Welcome to
thanks for having
Gino's
me.
spot.
Yeah, you took long enough to invite me. Thank you for finally getting around to it.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel, Stuart.
Yeah, I guess Elon Musk wasn't available tonight, so.
Yeah, no. We've had it's been a good ride, and I'm glad we've got you now. While we're looking a little bit more pro than we did, also working from my kitchen in when we started lockdown.
Yeah.
Do you like my shirt, Stewie?
Yeah, it's great. Who designed it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I can't believe it's still in one piece. I think mine didn't survive Flet. It was in tatters.
You're
by
talking
the
about
end of-
Plet 1989. It didn't survive.
yeah.
This is something Gary's just put up now. We met when we were at play school. Warm up, not warm up pre-primary. What is it? Newton Park pre-primary, yeah?
Newton Park, yeah. Newton Park.
Do you remember those days, Stewie, at all?
I do. I remember vaguely some things and blankets and
Yes,
elephants.
blanket time. Yeah, that was sleepy time, and tricycles. And you were talking about design, and I actually found in my in a box upstairs in the roof actually, and I fortunately took a picture of it before, I don't know, the rats ate the box, but but this is a picture that you drew for me for my birthday in 1975, I think it was. So we were 5 years old. You drew that. Any explanations of what that is? I don't know.
It's my future house. It's actually the house that I'm living in now. We actually had it built by so I'm glad you saved that.
Yes, you got. Is that
it
the one you
looks
got?
just
Those
like
wings on the side there. I don't know if Gary can bring it back in
it's
again.
fine.
Just check
It's
out the wings. It's
I
got
don't know what
a
it is. I
heli
don't know what-
house.
It looks like some sort of a windmill or
Yes, that's what blows
Happy birthday,
the air down. Clearly. Oh, thank you for that. It's taken me 45 years. So thank you very much for that, Stuart. It's a lovely picture. There's a picture of us as well. I think that's Auntie Pat. Do you remember Auntie Pat?
yes.
And
yes. Wow.
I can't see where you are in here because you could be one of 5 oaks.
Yeah, I guess
I don't
so.
even know.
I was blonde when I had hair.
Yes, you're one of the blonde little
Yeah.
guys there, and I don't know which one.
Yeah, you have
And
to
that's
send that to
Hagen.
me.
Can you see Hagen Junger there?
Yes.
Hagen Engler. Hagen
Yeah,
Engler.
they all look the same. You could be one of 5, I guess.
Yes, Hagen Engler, bottom right as well. It was a class full of people that were going to go into creative side, the creative arts. That's what
Yes.
that's what we had.
That's what they had, yeah. Yeah, they knew they separated us at birth.
Here we go. Here's something else. This one. Yeah, I know. Your sister kindly sent this one to us. That's you on the left. That's me next to you, and then Clyde, your brother, and my brother Marco. Obviously going on a bit of a swimming expedition.
Yes, I think that was at our house, yeah.
Yes, is that your place?
Looks like it.
Do you recognize the old chairs?
The plants.
I just about fell off my chair when I saw that photo. That was just ridiculous. I see Warren Telford's online. I was at Warren. It's the worst thing about waking up on Friday and realizing that it's only Tuesday. Oh dear. Okay, and Clifford Devonish from school as well. Although I don't think Clifford was at our school. He was just a Huntlanger.
He was an honorary VP.
He was.
He always used to hang
indeed.
around. But he was actually Pearson, but we won't hold it against him.
Yes, no, we won't hold that against Clifford. He was in with us. He was cool. He's an honorary, like you said, honorary VP member. Oh my word! And I mean, so now we got through the history. We got you know pre-primary. Then you went to Sunridge. Was it Sunridge?
Sagyage Primary, yeah. This is going to be a long night if we're going to go.
Yeah, no, no, we're not going to stick too long on that. And then VP, obviously, and then so after VP 88, off you went to Tech. And
yes, well, did I go to the Army first? Yeah, Army first 2 years.
Oh, did you Army as well?
Yeah, I did it.
Must have loved it.
I loved it. Such fun. We won't talk about that. But,
okay, yeah.
I was called up for 2 years, but only did 18 months because they stopped conscription just before.
Yes.
That was the last intake to do 18 months. Then went to PE Technikon.
Yes.
Which is now Nelson Mandela.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
That's you at Tech.
Studying art. Being studious.
You look like you're studying art. What are you doing? Sculpture? I don't know.
Yeah, I studied sculpture, so I had to cut up things with an angle grinder. That's basically what I did for a year. I worked with metal and I just cut things and welded it together. It was fun.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And I just I see Stuart Watkins online there as well. Vanessa Gonzalez. That's Vanessa Watson, I think. It used to be. From Van and Helen Barwood. Tracy Thorne, oh my word, all these guys coming on. We need some pool pics as well at the Forest swimming pool. Oh my word. Just while we're on this as well, we've got a little message from you because our moms of course got together. They had a long standing birthday lunch sort of thing that they used to do every birthday, and they did it so well. But I got this little message from your mom, Stewie, that I thought you might enjoy.
Congratulations once again, another feather in your cap. I remember when you first wanted to go to university, you wanted to do English. Once you wanted to be a journalist. And then you decided on fine arts, majoring in sculpture. Oh, and I thought to myself, what are you going to do with a sculpture? I mean, how many can you make a year? What future is in there just to be a sculptor? But I thought, oh, well, this is your dream. You wanted to do it, so go ahead and do it. And then lo and behold, with all the subjects that you took while you were doing your art degree has helped you in achieving your dream. So there you go. I want to say, well done. I'm so proud of you, and the whole family are so proud of you, Stuart, you and your team, for all the achievements that you've made. And we're just so proud of you. So once again, congratulations. We're holding thumbs that you get the Oscar this year.
Thank you, Mom. I know she's watching, so thanks. It's lovely.
She's always your biggest fans are always your mom. It's right, that. And they always get that. They've got that way about them that they'll, you still feel like you're 5 years old, and they're telling you, "Well done, young man." But they are so proud of that. That's good. It's good. Bring the love in, and I know your brother's overseas. I'm sure he's watching as well. Clyde and Kim.
He's fast asleep.
Oh, you reckon? I sent him the link. I chatted.
Okay, maybe.
So I think he's around too. But absolutely proud of you from PE side as well, Stu. Now after Tech, then you were doing sculpture, that sort of thing. How on earth did you get into animation from there? Was it fine arts?
It wasn't a massive jump. I studied photography and sculpture, and I came across a friend of mine, also from PE, Kobus van Heerden. He showed me Wallace and Gromit. Like, it was the first time I'd seen, I think it was the Close Shave. It was the first one. And we looked at this, and we both studied sculpture and photography, and we looked at it and said, this is easy. Anybody can do this. You just have to get some plasticine and a camera. And so we started making stop frame animation. It's not that easy, but I kind of got hooked.
Sure.
And it kind of never went back at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's that kind of spark though, that initial thing that said, I can do that. Give it, come on, man. You've got to have that, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just they say filmmakers have some sort of optimism neurosis, and they just think that they can do anything that they set their mind to, or they wouldn't be in filmmaking because the odds are so stacked against you succeeding that you kind of really have to have a really low grip on reality and not really understand the brutal facts of life. So, but life does teach you that. Yeah, see.
Clyde's he's here.
He is here.
He's up. Are you watching, Clyde? Are you watching?
Yeah. So it's been a good journey anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the like you said, the fact that you just stumble into it, you don't. If you had to look back now and choose again, if you had that knowledge already, you'd say, oh no, stuff it. Just I don't know if I'd ever do it. If you think of the journey that you've done.
Yeah. No, yeah. You wouldn't do it. Hi, Mark. Jesse's amazing, by the way. Just have to say that.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, sorry. Yes, I'm reading the comments.
Yeah, read the comments. Who's Lynn Canino Forrest?
Lynn's my sister-in-law. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, woke up early, especially for this. They did it specially for you. Stuart. You'll have to perform now. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that whole that sort of looking back, you maybe not do these things, but you have to, and thinking about it now, was there a moment that was it moving to Cape Town that started the ball rolling for you?
Yeah,
meet somebody?
It was going freelance because I moved to Cape Town and then I worked in web design because I still needed to earn money. And then I worked for a company for Getaway, and then it was going freelance that really decided I was going to take a leap. And I think a friend of mine convinced me to give up the comfort of a permanent position at a really established magazine company and take a chance. And I've never looked back. I've never worked for anyone else since then. I've just had clients, and that gave me the freedom to be able to keep developing my animation craft and build relationships with people who were, really talented. And I think that goes back to being at PE Technicon. We had an incredible year of very talented people that studied with me.
Yes.
And I remember looking at the group and going, if only someone could find a way that we could all work together to create something amazing. But at that stage, animation in 19 whatever it was Disney did that. That's all. So it took a while to actually get to the idea of maybe, we can create an art form or, become part of an art form that encompasses clothing design, writing, design, acting, craft, everything. Sculpture, photography, it really everything comes together in animation, and I could never decide on one thing, and I could never decide. I always, as my mom said, always wanted to be a writer to begin with. So it's kind of like, I don't have to make a decision. I can do writing and photography and sculpture and everything else that I wanted to do. And
so you took it as though you don't have to make that call.
Yeah. And that was it's been a fantastic journey. I've worked with incredibly talented people, way more talented than I was, but I can take all the credit for it. So I'm very happy to get them to do their best work. And
It's interesting that you mentioned the Getaway magazine, because I had an interview with Tim Hopwood. I think you might know. I don't know if you know Tim, and Mark Prodovat. Tim. He was also photography at that time, and he said of Tim, I was thinking I was going to go and get a job at Getaway magazine, and I'd be a photographer and I'd make some money like that, and then when I saw that group, that Tim and those guys at Tech, I realized that I was going to be poor my whole life. I was going to be creative but poor, and I wasn't going to see that. I see Wayne Smith's online here. What Miff sounds familiar. Cliffy is Miff Cliff.
That's no, that, yeah, that's long. That's a long story. We won't go.
A long story. Okay, we won't go.
won't.
We won't. Okay, Shana Kiza says in 19 and thinking of you going around the world of animation as a career. Can you? She's 19. Can you share a bit of your past experience and some tips? Well, I'm sure that we will. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of people, which I'm sure are showing interest in this sort of thing because it sounds and it seems very exciting. You know, I mean, your first foray into this animation thing. Where did that come from?
So the first thing I did was create a stop frame film. Well, a couple of, but it was really pushing plasticine back and forth with a digital camera. Really nothing. I deleted them all and I'll never show them. But at one point I entered a competition for a PSA, a public service announcement, and a friend of mine had worked for a charity called Abelini Bezakaya, and I made I got all my PE friends, Sonia Geyer, Kobus van Heerden, Rachel Main, they all came around and we started making this little story about that promoted the charity. And in the end, I gradually backed off because everyone else was doing a much better job than I was. They were really, Kobus was fantastic at animation, Rachel was making stuff, and Sonia was making stuff. And eventually I said, okay, I'm going to go get pizza and beer. And I just started, making sure everybody had the equipment and everything. So
yes,
I kind of moved into, Anwar's here. Anwar did the music for Abelini Bezakaya. Right. Yeah, this was 2001, I think. Yeah, 2001.
Oh, really?
So,
wow.
And it won best music and best grassroots and best animation. So it won quite a bunch of awards, and based on that, I was offered a job. In fact, one of the judges worked for Triggerfish, and she offered me a job on the day I handed it in. So so that was really the start. And I think the lesson for people is obviously that's a success story, that just a lot of luck in being in the right place. But what I always tell people is just make films. If you're interested, is the only way you can show a potential employer that you're really interested is just make films, and you can do it with a piece of plasticine or anything. Just get a digital camera or your phone, and we've got a course on our website at Triggerfish that shows you how to do it.
That girl that was 19 that was looking there, I think that's probably the kind of thing that she must look at. It looked like an amazing project. Just tell us a little bit about that, Stewie.
It's we have a foundation that basically exists to promote animation in Africa, and we have courses that help with the introduction of animation, because we found we go into schools and we say, who wants to be in animation? And everyone says, what's animation? And then we have to explain it. So we're starting younger, and we our whole course is around, this is what animation is, this is the different careers, this is the opportunity, and it's quite a challenge on the continent. Art is not embraced, but there's 1 billion people here, most of them young, and it's a big opportunity.
Yeah, for sure, and I think so much. There's so much that Africa and South Africa and Africa has to give, because the Western world it's saturated itself,
Yeah.
And
well, we're seeing that very clearly now, that there's this exhaustion with the kind of white male Western cultural perspective. It's just becoming exhausting for people around the world, because the world has democratized, and it is the streaming services are bringing a lot more filmmakers up, and that's been really interesting for independent filmmakers, because suddenly if you live in Hollywood, you can't get a movie made. It's impossible. But if you live in Cape Town, you just have to have a good idea and it'll get made. And so it's just an exciting time for
that's fantastic news
from Hollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is good. That is good to hear. You know, to think that we actually on the cusp here of something, because that whole digital thing, like you were talking about your stop animation, what allowed, or I would imagine, what allowed you to do that so easily was the digital format, because you could cut and delete and whatever you needed to do.
Yeah.
When you
yeah.
started, you know.
It became massively easier. You know, I did some stop frame animation with my dad's Super 8 camera when I was about 11. I
really?
I spent the whole day drawing and taking a picture and drawing and taking a picture, and then, you know, in those days you had to send it off to Kodak, wait 2 weeks. First you had to wait for your dad to finish the shooting that film, and the spool, which took a month or 2 months, and then when it was finished, they sent it off to Kodak, and then it comes back, and you know, you watch it, and you're so excited, and then in between the pictures of you and your brother swimming in the pool, there's this 1 second clip of drawings that just fly past, and then it goes on to the next thing. And I, you know, the first time I think I just missed it. And then I came back and it was like, oh, wow, I drew 25 massive pictures and took the whole day, and it was 1 second of footage. So, and then I was like, well, this is not for me. And when it took them another 20, 30 years to invent digital cameras, and I was like, okay, I'll give it another shot.
Okay, now we can do it. Yeah.
now we can talk.
And now, like you say, with live streaming happening now, it's changed the face of things. You know. It really has.
The big streaming services have changed. You know, all the work we do. Like in the past, we would have to go through different intermediaries to access the market. So and a lot of the money got lost along the way. The lawyers take a lot. The agents and the managers and all those people take all the. Now we've got relationships with Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max. Yeah. Direct, that we can just
direct,
and we talk to them every week, every day sometimes, and they keep looking at what we have. Every time we find a new project they're excited about, we send it to them, and they engage directly, and they don't want any middlemen. They want to work with us, and they write checks, just one check. It's like it's a simple thing. You don't have to go raise money from 100 different people and spread it together. So it's a big deal.
Oh, great! So I just see some comments coming in. I saw Paul Lads coming on there. I was at Paul and Tracy thought I see Brent Mitchell. Like listening to the guys, I see I wonder where the Bedford is today. Did you have a Bedford?
Yeah, don't talk about it.
It wasn't a great Bedford. Your dad used to take Polaroids of us at the pool, and we thought it was magic. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Those Polaroids used to come out straight away.
Yeah,
crazy stuff. Shawnee, beautifully inspiring words. Nice meeting you guys and hearing your thoughts. And thank you very much. You can, I'm sure you can contact Triggerfish, and they'll point you in the right directions and tell you what to do there as well. And Miguel Boma, see Jane Stevenson. Hello, Jane. How's it, man? Nice to see you online too. So okay, so that first stop animation thing, that was like an advert thing, and won some awards. So then you say Triggerfish got hold of you then, and obviously
I didn't start Triggerfish. It was already there were 2 people running it, and they basically worked out of their lounge at the time, and they had just upgraded offices. They had to get a big contract for Sesame Street, for Takalani Sesame, and they needed new animators, and so I was immediately hired for that. I think one of the biggest reasons I was hired is because I came with a camera, because I bought the camera to do it, and they needed a camera, and I think I came in at the price of the camera they would have hired anyway. So it wasn't a massive job, but it was enough to get me
your foot in.
Get my foot in. At that point, we were shooting on 35mm film, and I shot one thing on that, and I was like, we can do this with digital cameras, same quality, and we can do all the post in those days After Effects, where they would take everything to flame and spend 15,000 Rand a day on a flame artist. And I was like, you can get this plugin off the internet when there's a demo for free, and you can do this. It's the same plugin that they use in Flame, but it's and to stabilize and check the lights and stuff. So we just digitized the whole workflow, and then and it just became a much simpler thing. And then eventually, at that point, the stop frame market, with photographs and lights, that kind of came to a sad ending as computer animation started to rise, and the original owners they moved on. They kind of saw it as the end of an era, and I took over the company with a friend of mine, and then it had some ups and downs, but we kind of rebooted it as a CG company about 3 years later, and started doing things on computers.
Gee whiz, yeah, because I mean that really does transform things. As soon as digital comes in, there's stuff that you would normally have to do that now becomes completely automated. And then so that was your start in Triggerfish, and at that stage you said Tangalani Sesame, but there was overseas thing, wasn't it? Was it Wallace and Gromit, or what was it?
Yeah, well, Wallace and Gromit inspired me, but the first real work that I did was for Takalani Sesame, and they came to us, and the brief was, we wanted to work in rural South Africa. That's our target market. So we want you to try and make some animation that illustrates what the puppets do. That basically they've got a curriculum, and we have to try and meet those goals. So we worked very closely with Sesame Workshop, who kind of helped us, but we storyboarded and we came up with the stories, and that was kind of the DNA of Triggerfish working. I was exposed to working with people from New York who really knew what they were doing, and then but what we brought was an aesthetic from the rural South Africa. We made things with beads and plastic bags, and just like we hired craftspeople in to make stuff, and then we fixed it for stop motion. So
and a different feel, a whole different feel and culture coming into it.
Feel. And initially we made it for Takalani Sesame, but it was so successful that they started commissioning the same characters for the US version of Sesame Street, and then for the International Archive. So over 10 years, we did about 7 seasons of animation for Sesame Street, Takalani Sesame, and we built great relationships in learning how to kind of, open ourselves for guidance from the people that are deeply experienced, but being able to bring this kind of crude, raw talent with new ideas in. And that has been what we've kind of built on, that core since then with every project that we've done.
I think your personality, the way you are, Stewie, it really does. I think I can see exactly why, because you're a listener. You just quietly go about your thing and take it all in. I think that's your vibe. She's saying Pam is saying that one was humble. You're a humble man indeed.
Thanks, Pam.
All PE people are humble. They have to be.
I'm the most humble. I think that
the most humble of all.
It took me a while to lean into that. You get this idea of a leader. We've got a big company, 170 people. You think that you need to have some sort of, authority in that place, and I couldn't do it. I just don't have the DNA for it, and I'm just not the makeup. So, and someone or somewhere I read somewhere along the line, just lean into what you can do, and just be the best version of what you are. Don't try and be someone else. And having been released from trying to be a tough boss or whatever, I could let's do what I do, which is be nice to everyone. And people tend to give you great results if they don't feel they're forced to, and they're doing it for them. And what we ended up doing is, everyone who comes in on their first day or close to their first day, I try and meet with them on a one-on-one and ask them about their career. Like, I'm interested in where you are in 20 years. Never mind what you employed to be here. Do you really want to be a dancer or a doctor, or like, how are we going to get you there? And I think that focus on the individual's artistic journey is something that's kind of people do appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they asked Jacob Zuma that same question, and he said suspended with full pay after 5 years.
That makes sense.
We're going to take a quick look at your Triggerfish team. I presume this is one of the teams. You can explain afterwards. Let's have a look first. Got some drummers in there. That one guy
Where
did
did
have
you
a tea
find
bag. I've got no idea. Gary digs this stuff up. He
I've seen
searches
that for
the
years.
net.
Yeah. It was 2014, I think.
2014, 2015. Gary says 2015. Yeah, so that must be around there. What project was that?
That was Stickman.
Stickman. Okay, was that one of your first big ones? Or?
That was the first one. So basically, we did the first big one that we did was Zambezia, which was a feature film. So
was that before Stickman?
That was before. Yeah. We did Zambezia
okay.
and Khumba back to back, and that was just massive undertaking. I can't even begin. It was feature film. I wrote the software that ran the production as well, because I used to be a programmer, and at one point I could see that there were 156,000 decisions that the director needed to make, because each decision had to be signed off, and most of the time, more than half the time, the decision is a note and sent back to the crew, and then so it was like hundreds, 200, 300,000 decisions being made on a project, and 80 people worked on Zambezia. There were 107 on Khumba. Just a massive operation for people with no experience in management, but incredible people, incredible talent, incredible work ethic, and we managed to pull those movies off, and
they just dug deep.
Well for us. Yeah.
Would have had to. Would have had to. I seem to remember at the time you saying to, because I mean the budgets that they talk about with these movies are ridiculous. And I remember you saying to me that it's like one day you've got ridiculous amounts of money, the next day you're completely in debt, the next day.
Yeah. Well, the movies together, Zambezia and Khumba, made $77 million, in gross receipts, but it cost $78 million. So it's always like that in the kind of Hollywood mechanics. Whenever there's a report of how much money we made, there's always another report of how much money they spent to make that money, and it always is just to the point where they don't really have to pay the producer anything. So we're getting better at that, and working directly with the streamers really cuts out a lot of where that goes. But that's how it works.
You mean you're talking about like traveling and stuff as well? Because I noticed I saw an interview with one of the producer guys, was Daniel, saying with the voiceovers with the voiceovers with the actors doing voicings, that they would sit on Skype or and have the guy producer over there in LA, and then the guy the producer here too, and that it made it easier for him. I mean, it's everything's streaming. We do nowadays, well, especially under the lockdown, we do all our recording in LA from Cape Town. So we just have a streaming connection. We're connected to the studio on a super fast line, and it feels like you're there. It really, you don't know the difference whether it's always a glass booth. You're always behind a glass booth anyway. So you may as well be there, because there's a camera there, and you just feel you're with the actor. It's no latency, so it's all there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just play a little bit of a trailer to Zambezia. Let's go have a look at what we're talking about.
Today, Dad, you teach me to look after myself. Maybe it's time I did. I'm looking for Zambezia.
Then you're headed the right way.
Time to meet the town the easy way.
Welcome to Zambezia. If you need lodging, the double deluxe suite.
I can get used to this. Oh, hi. You too?
That is so
The whole family?
feathery.
Wow. Like, yeah, boy, the hurricanes. Hurricanes?
The hurricanes patrol the skies, keeping Zambezia safe and sound.
I was kind of
It's
thinking
hard
of
to
joining
watch
the
this.
hurricanes.
Yeah. Is it?
After 10 years
will
ago.
never be a
it's
hurricane.
such a long way. But
I'm sure it's like everything you do is it gets improved and improved and improved.
Yeah.
So you're the one seeing all the old tech, I suppose, whereas we're just watching it, thinking, wow, it's really good.
Look, it was an incredible achievement. I mean, it was mind-blowing what was achieved on the budget and with a completely inexperienced crew. And not a single person in that crew had ever stepped foot into a Disney or a Pixar or any of those, like any studio outside of South Africa. So completely green. And we made a film that distributed around the world in cinemas and was the #1 in the Netherlands. It ran for 36 weeks, which is like insane for an independent film. I think the Dutch distributor said that it was the most successful independent animation they'd ever had.
That's amazing.
That it held up in the cinema with this completely inexperienced crew. But they've come a long way from that, and it's all they've done great work.
And one advantage with animation, I suppose, is that you can dub it into whatever language you like.
That's what gives it the advantage over any other form of art or everything else. Especially with movies, it is very culturally specific. It's very hard to take a film from China and just play it in the multiplexes. Even if you dub live action, it's kind of we know it's dubbed.
Yeah.
But the dubbing on animation is so good you don't even know sometimes.
You don't. And the voice actors that you got. I mean, we've got some big names on these movies that you've done as well. What's the process in getting these guys?
It's a bit of a kind of horse trading thing. With Samuel Jackson, there was a guy that worked in our sales agent's building who produced Invictus, and he was friends with Samuel Jackson. So our sales agents kind of stopped him in the passage one day and said, "Hey, aren't you the guy that produced all these Clint Eastwood movies?" And he's just a lot of Harrison Ford movies, almost all of them he produced. And he said, we're really looking for Samuel Jackson. Do you think you could get him? And then we paid him a fee to get Samuel Jackson on the phone, and then we managed to get him. And then once you've got one, then it was very easy to go to Jeff Goldblum and say, "Oh, we've got Samuel Jackson," and Jeff was like, "Oh, whatever." And,
that's all right,
And then we had Leonard Nimoy and
was Mr. Spock.
Yeah, Mr. Spock. It was just his last show, I think, or his last one of his last things he did. And I thought he was going to die in the flipping recording.
Really?
Honestly, Anyway, I'll be.
He was ill.
He was not well, but he was amazing and really great. Jeff Goldblum was on drugs. He wasn't. He gave us a great performance, but wow. Liam Neeson was grumpy. But we've had some wonderful actors.
The difference between is there 3D version and a normal version? Did you do the 3D version as well?
A stereoscopic 3D, with two eyes. Yeah, we did that for both Khumba and Zambezia. Stereoscopic, but it's a kind of.
Is that a challenge?
It's tough. Yeah, you have to render the film twice, one for the left eye, one for the right eye. So it is work. It's a lot of extra work. Yeah.
But you say it's kind of fading, that whole thing.
No one's doing it anymore. Certainly the streamers don't they don't need it. So you only need it for theatrical, and it's only really Russia and China that still use 3D in a big way.
Yeah. Okay. Russia and China. How on earth does this creation happen? Says Lauren van Staden. Hey, hey, Stu, make the bird fly past and wink. How much?
Look, it's all in the software and the talent. I mean, basically, animation today, where animation used to be, 100% about how quick you can draw and how good you are at holding structure and form in your drawing. Today, it's more how good is your acting, and we look for people who understand, pathos. Like, how can you communicate an emotion in a moment, and do you understand the timing of how to communicate that, and do you have ideas about how to communicate that better? Like, so we really are looking for like method actors to become animators. They should really understand the concept of acting beat. And but the software is really advanced now. So they have 25 frames per second, and they tweak the character to be in a different place every single frame for 25 times, and then you play it back, and it looks like it's moving. Simple.
So same old, but just all automated. And like you see, we're talking about the method actors, and that's a natural thing, though. Surely, that natural ability, that natural timing.
I think it's something you need to have an interest in people to understand it. I think that kind of comes with it. But there is things you learn about how to communicate an emotion, and how do you, obviously the face, but the whole body language is expressive. So you have to really understand people's body language. So when you're in a room of animators, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes,
you can't get away with anything.
It's true. You've got this all of a sudden it looks real, and it looks something looks real, and it's like he's got it. So And as I know you've done, obviously Khumba was straight after the Zambezia, so it was like 2 in a row, and did it improve? Did you obviously you must have learned a lot from Zambezia?
Khumba's much higher quality than Zambezia technically, because we did learn, and we used the same team, and they were able to say, okay, we did a dry run, and then we moved on to Khumba. Maybe if you're going to show the trailer, we can just show it while we talk.
Yeah, Khumba.
Okay, and you can have a look. Get a sense of how much better the
in the heart of Africa.
Here we go.
But it's so it was nice to do the 2 back to back, and we used more up to date renderers as well. So the software was a bit better, but mostly I think we just had a really confident team and a bit more money, so a bit of a bigger team too. This also did really well.
Yeah, it was a great movie. We were talking earlier about John Lasseter and the fact that the Pixar stuff, they're able to, they've got such big budgets that they are able to just go back and improve. Whereas in our case here, you guys have got to really get it right first time, almost. It
requires a lot more discipline. Anyone who's worked in those big studios will talk about how it's the discipline there's so much that's left on the cutting floor, so to speak. They just make stuff, they go, it didn't work, let's make it again. Whereas we have to board the whole movie, make sure it works, and then make just what we know is going to work, because we have to be incredibly disciplined and specific about how to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Because just the budget is, you just can't carry on forever. You got to get this thing done, I suppose. Yeah. But what would have been the improvements? Like you said the rendering would have been faster computers that would do it quicker, so you could maybe redo things quicker. That sort of thing, I suppose.
Yeah, it was more. That was the idea, that we would have faster renderers and faster computers. But of course, the lighting artists just use more lights, and the more expensive the more you're allowed to render, the better you're going to light it. So a lot of it is just the lighting artists having a bit more leeway, and instead of
Yes.
coming back with a big saving and say, look, we saved you so much money, it's like, look, we improved the quality. And
Yeah. So we use just the same amount of time and quality and money.
Yeah.
François Trutte, mooi man, dankie. Dankie, François. Let's have a look, Shana Kaiser. You mentioned that you have to understand people, emotions, time, and reasons of different actions in acting. So therefore, you say that animation has a bit more psychology in it.
Yeah, I think understanding how to connect with an audience, like that's really what any filmmaking is. It's just how do we connect with an audience. So if the more you can understand that, the more you can understand your character, where they're coming from, what motivates them. It's just going to come out, and you don't see it in the moment because it takes years and years to actually produce these films. But when everything's finished, and you see a character come to life, you just know, okay, that is a character that is living and is alive and breathes and has a heart. So it's a skill.
Yeah. Somebody asking here, I'd love to know whether you have some of the traditional departments that non-animators, like costumes and set design and that sort of thing.
Yes, it's so when we do we're doing a show now for Netflix, and we had costume designers come in and help with the design of all the costumes for the characters because we wanted it to have a certain look. So set design, we call it environment design, and we have concept artists who specialize in creating background concepts and background plates. And then you have character designers, people who can, create characters that are appealing and you can connect with. So,
just thinking about that now, because the animator himself, so you always think of, as a normal person would think of it as one guy draws or creates this thing online, and it's he's got to think of absolutely everything. He's got to think of the camera angles, the lighting, is it one person that does this whole thing? Surely it goes through different.
Yeah, so the hierarchy is the director is the head creative person. The director has to hold the vision and protect the vision and fight the producers for that vision. And then, but the director has an art director to help with the look, with a production designer, and then usually an assistant director to help with just basically stuff that the director can't get to because it's just so much work.
Because there's 10,000 decisions to make.
Yeah. And then there's an animation director who will look after the animation performance. And then there's it depends how it's set up, but there's, the art director can also do some of the lighting, but there's usually a lighting TD who handles the lighting side. So there's and compositing. So there's a head of department in every department who has an aesthetic that they get on board the director's vision, and then they execute that vision and try and make it coherent.
So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that the normal kind of movie making thing that's involved here as well. It's not just like you say, stop animation, get a digital camera, let's go. Now, your role now. I mean, you CEO of Triggerfish. What does that mean now? You just boss people around and say, "Bring me some tea."
No, it means that. Well, not from home, I promise. That's that.
Oh, good.
And my wife isn't going to do it.
Doesn't do that.
She does sometimes. My main role now is kind of engaging with clients. Making sure that the team is keeping the client happy, or whoever's paying. And a lot of legal work. Probably half my time is just going through the incredibly big contracts that they insist on, and take years to resolve. Literally, I've just signed a contract last week that we were working on for a year, and it's just a lot lot of work and hundreds of thousands of rands worth of legal.
You didn't sign up for admin.
Yeah, I know. But I do get to give notes a little bit on scripts when I get to it, which is less and less these days. But I can give some creative notes occasionally. But for the most part, it's about making sure the team is just being the best that they can be and trying to take the obstacles out the way. It's about as much as I can hope for.
Yeah, see, Etheline is saying here that she's the rendering process is so tedious. No, she needs a faster PC.
No, for sure.
So Hawks wants to have some coffee with you in London. She said next time you're over.
We won't touch the Guinness then.
Whatever. Cabello is saying, thank you for doing this interview. I've always enjoyed it, hearing how animation is made, and interviews like this are so good for exposing South Africans to animation. And it's true. You're looking at it as a viable opportunity. This is such a rare thing, Stewie. As far as I know, I mean, surely it's rare all over the world that you get a studio full of animators doing this stuff. I mean, it's Pixar and you. What do you think?
There's a couple of others. There are quite a few companies.
Okay.
South Africa doesn't have a lot. There's probably one other, Sunrise, and then there's some VFX companies that also work. So it's still fledgling in South Africa. There's a long way for us to go, but Europe there's loads, and Canada there's loads. All over.
But I think they're looking for that African flavor now. I remember the last time you went over because you had a nomination for, I can't remember which one
Revolting
it was.
Rhymes.
Revolting Rhymes. And you said that they were so interested in the African stuff. It's a Black Panther had just come out, and they wanted that juice.
Yeah, no, it was incredible. We were in Los Angeles for the Oscar nomination for Revolting Rhymes, and the studios, because it's usually hard to get a meeting with Disney and Universal and Warner's, and but they took we got meetings with all the people we wanted, and they all said, "Oh, you're from Africa. Have you got any African stories?" And we were like, "Actually, that's what we've been doing for the last 10 years." And so we had a whole bunch of stuff that we'd been developing, and at the time that we started developing, I mean, especially Mama K's, which is set in Lusaka, Zambia, very hard sell 5 years ago. It was really an outsider. We just thought this is never going to get made. 4 African girls making it's just not. There's just no market for it. But we took it on as a kind of wild card, and it was the first one of the whole bunch that we developed to be picked up by Netflix and became Netflix's first animated series from Africa. And it's been incredible working with the incredible people from around the continent on that.
Gee, so they assist you then as well with all these connections, I suppose. Once you've got this a solid Netflix thing.
Once you say Netflix, we're doing a project with Netflix, then that's it. You're done. You don't have to try anymore. You just then demand what you want. So it's incredible, and that's what one of the other things I tell people is choose your partners. We said no to a lot of stuff that we thought, I'm not quite sure about working with this team, or this guy just feels not right. And so we held ourselves kind of available for the right kind of partnerships. And when those partnerships came up, we could notice it. So after Khumba, we had no work after that. We were absolutely exhausted. It was 3.5 years of nonstop panic. And we had a script, but we'd realized by then that we needed to spend a lot more time in script development before we can really compete internationally. And so we went back from 120 people in those days, or 110, down to 4. And we just kind of sat in this massive facility with all these computers, and we just didn't know what we were going to do, because it was still going to be a year before these movies are released. But fortunately, I had been chasing up the Michael Rose, who was the producer of A Close Shave, which was the movie that got me into animation. And he'd then gone on to do Chicken Run and The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, movies that I really loved. And then he left Aardman and started his own company. And so, back in 2006, I'd contacted him and said, we're making some movies, we'd love to have your notes, have you involved
Yeah.
if it's possible? And he said, yeah, I'm too busy now, and I'll give you some notes. But we built a relationship, and it took 8 years before that relationship bore any fruit. And
Wow.
when he came to us and said, I've got this project for BBC Christmas, we're looking to do some of it potentially at Triggerfish. He'd seen Khumba at a festival, and he thought maybe we could pull off part of the project. And we said to him, actually, we want to bid on the whole project. And so we did that, and then we did Stickman, which really just blew up for us. It won the best animation in the world at the Annecy Festival, which is the biggest festival, and it just went on.
Was that
to
the
win
BAFTA as well?
I think it won the BAFTA.
Yeah, I think it won BAFTA as well. Yeah, that one.
I think it did.
Because that was BBC, wasn't it? That was on
yeah,
BBC.
Yeah, and that led to Revolting Rhymes, which was Oscar nominated, and also
incredible.
I think won an Emmy as well. And then we went on after that. We did Highway Rat, which is another Christmas special, and then we did Zog, and then we did Snail and the Whale, which is the one that's just been selected for the Oscar shortlist now. So
isn't that amazing, Stewie?
Yeah,
I mean, that blows your mind if you think about,
It is really amazing, and those are that's the stuff we've done. We've got so much in development now with major studios that we will be announcing. We're going to announce something at the end of this month. That's very exciting. We have another project that will be announced in the next couple of months. That is the biggest animation investment into Africa of all time by far. Jeez. And there's a couple more TV series that we're producing as well. So it's really blowing up, and we're just very grateful.
It's amazing. And I mean, it's like I'm sure it must be because you work so like at such a frenzied pace with these things that when things stop, it's almost like your music as well. You're as good as your last song. That you've written. The next project's got to be going.
Yeah, no, it needs a lot of momentum, and but what we've kind of found a niche in the world is being able to come alongside kind of raw creative talent and provide the structure of producers and funding and art directors and writers and whatever they need to get that story told in the best possible way. And it's quite a niche thing because mostly the films that are made out of Los Angeles would be made from people who have studied. They grow up in a family where their parents were producers or directors, and then they go to school at Beverly Hills High and they get taught it as a subject, and then they go to Cal Arts or one of the big film schools, and they're steeped with all this. This is how we make films, and we just don't have that. So we have people who have an idea, and they leapfrog a lifetime of people with the ambition to make these films. It's incredible.
It's great. So are we going to have a quick look at the which was the snail, the snail, whale and the snail? That looks like an amazing story of I love the idea of the little people, finding your place in the world and finding how you fit in. Let's have a quick look at the snail and the whale here.
Of a tiny snail and a great big whale.
This is the sea.
So wild and free to towering icebergs.
And far off land.
Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler's The Snail and the Whale on BBC One and iPlayer.
They always say, I remember my brother's also involved in London with Pinewoods and Pinewood Studios, and that he always said the water movies were all the most expensive.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of them. We did Snail and the Whale, and then we've done SEAL Team, which is also a water movie, and we have a couple of other movies that have monsters from the sea, and it's just like, can we stop with the water? But once you figure out how to do it, it's
it's okay. But and so these are your new projects. As Snail and the Whale is still coming. What's happening with that?
Snail and the Whale is on Showmax.
Showmax at the moment.
So sign up, and I think all the our movies are on Showmax now.
Khumba and Zambezia as well.
Yeah, they should all be there. I'm not sure if they all there, but yeah, they're all available on Showmax.
Here's a question for you. Here's a good one for you, Stuart. My daughter loves anime. I've picked up a lot of oaks that are into that anime and comes up with amazing drawings. She's also extremely good with stage makeup. What would you suggest she studies going forward? What do you study? She's grade 10 this year, so difficult.
It's what I tell people is try different things. So again, on our website, there's a whole section where we basically teach people how to make their first film, and they can do it with a camera, cell phone camera, and that's really all they need. So
do something. Get out there.
Just do it. Just do it and see if you like it. You might not. You might think this is awful. It's I don't have the patience for it. I'm not enjoying it, and then don't. But you won't know until you try, because if it gets you, it gets you. The people that we work with, they live, eat, and breathe and sleep animation. It's in their heart. It's in their they can't not do it, and they're drawing in their free time. But they're observing people. They love it, and they're studying it. They go home and they watch animated movies frame by frame, and so it's a passion. It's a vocation. The money isn't great going in. It takes a while to get to the point where you can, charge the big bucks, and it's and that is there. It's a career that you just keep going until you've won Oscars, but it is it's a tough career, and you have to love it. If you don't love it, you can't force yourself to be in it. There's so many other easier things to do. So I would say to anybody, just try it out, make your own films, put a YouTube channel up, and put your stuff there. Use Lego if you must, or use whatever. Make the films, tell the story, and just see what where it goes.
I suppose it's like music as well, where if somebody can see what you're doing, they can. If somebody's somebody like yourself, you'll be able to see this rudimentary thing, but you'll pick up what their talents are by just looking at it. So if I look at a drummer, I'll be able to see if he can play drums within seconds. You just know. You just kind of know. Shanae is saying the qualification levels to become a South African animator, the same level if you wanted to animate overseas. Is there a qualification?
Oh, we're tough to get into, but so there is a qualification. We tend to hire people who have studied at one of the major colleges. There are I won't, there's really one that stands out, and I'd encourage you to do your research because look at the student reels from the previous year. What have the students actually produced? Because that's going to be what gets you your job. There's nothing else that we hire on. We don't ask where you studied. We ask, what have you done? And what does your show reel look like? So I want a 1 minute show reel, not too long. Just give me your best work. And if you don't understand what your best work is, don't ask me to decide it, because that just shows that we want, if you've got 30 seconds of incredible work, it's worth a lot more than 10 minutes of rubbish, which we get. People send us show reels and we go, I don't have 10 minutes to sit through all this. I just want to know, do you understand what's good? And because the rest is passion, dedication, commitment, that you can get there. So, but that you can do at home. There is, you really can do that at home. And in your bedroom, you need a light and a camera, a phone.
Yeah. Is there a future for stop motion animation? Is it making a comeback?
No, I wouldn't say. We dropped it completely. We just walked away from it. There is in the UK. There's still some studios that make it, but they become very specialized, and it's just CG is so much easier, more versatile. You can do so much more with the camera. You can change things. You can fix things later. So I think it's going to be hard.
Stuart, again, thank you for the team Triggerfish Studios for being pioneers in Southern Africa. You totally are, Stu.
Thanks, man.
Amazing. I see huge the Academy Award. Yes, everybody's going to be congratulating you for that as well, and it's amazing. Stu, it blows our minds here in PE. We love it. We absolutely love it. It gives these guys hope. You know, you've got to, even online now. I see these guys coming on doing it with animation, and they're thinking that they're here in PE thinking, you know, what the hell? What am I ever going to do with it? But it's so. I mean, in Cape, like you said, your guys they're looking for the content. And they're looking for the right stuff.
Yeah. So it's a great time to be in animation. Really, it is.
Good. Gary's asking you about your experiences at the Oscars and collecting awards. That's a fan question. Here we go. Who's that?
So this was at the Oscar nomination we got for Revolting Rhymes in 2018.
Oh, right.
As Mike is our head of production and the co-producer of Revolting Rhymes. So he went up. Well, we didn't win, so he didn't go up, but he went. He went as far as
to the place.
He went to the Oscar ceremony. I dropped him off. So yeah, that's. I didn't
only had one ticket.
One ticket, yeah. So we didn't both get in.
I love that. I love it.
He won the toss-up. So,
right, you pull a short straw. Damn him.
He did the work. I'll tell you.
Oh, fair enough then. Fair enough. Who's that? That's for the. Yeah.
This is our team. Those are three of my business partners. Dan is the director, and Ned Lott on the right hand side is the voice director from Hollywood. He's on all our films. That's at the Annie Awards. That's the biggest animation awards. That's like the Oscars for the animation awards.
Animation. Okay, really.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. We've got a little video of Revolting Rhymes, just a quick one as well. Just to, I think Gary's got it ready here. Let's have a look.
Great big ears you
Magic
have,
Light. That's
Grandma.
the fairy stories.
What great big eyes you have, Grandma. But Grandma, what a lovely, great big furry coat you have on.
You think you know these stories? You don't.
Flowers. Flowers.
Once upon a time.
Adorable.
Suddenly, one awful day. Bang, bang, bang.
Yes!
Oh, man.
Red, what happened?
Patience.
Roll doll.
Yeah, that was fun. That was one of the toughest projects. I mean, I think it was the toughest project we ever did. It came to us after we were busy making Stickman with Magic Light.
Yeah.
And so he took Revolting Rhymes to a German company because we were too busy. And then they just got into so much trouble with it. They couldn't get it done. And so he ended up asking, can we take over? And so we had this very complicated pipeline that we didn't understand, and we had to move everything over and work with the directors who were, just very amazing, but demanding.
Yeah,
and,
the German ones. Was you talking about the German?
Yes,
not
yes.
them.
And you think that that the German production system might be disciplined and on the ball, but I think when Germans rebel, they go the other way, and
go the other way. Anarchy.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they were incredible. Incredible talents, and we had to work through the night for weeks and weeks and weeks to get it finished. And Yeah, but we were, it's the proudest thing I am in terms of just having done that. And having it delivered. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's. I mean, so and that Annie award and the BAFTA award as well, was that the Revolting Rhymes?
I think that was for Zog. That was for Zog.
Oh, Zog.
Which followed.
Zog was the other.
It was first Highway Rat, then Zog, then. Yeah.
Okay, and then so Magic Like Pictures, they are the overseas bunch that noticed you.
Yeah, so they're based out in London, and it's been an incredible relationship. We've done 5 Christmases for them, and it's been we've loved working with them. But at the end of the day, it's time for us to, we have an original films department, and we've been developing original films for the last 6-7 years, and now suddenly all those films are getting funded, and so we've moved away. We're not doing service work anymore. We're only making originals, and so we've unfortunately had to say goodbye to that because there just aren't enough people to do everything we want to do.
Amazing. And just as a bit of hope for PE, do you think that this movie industry in Cape Town is it getting clogged over there? Don't they need to move some stuff over on this side?
You know what's in the UK, London used to be the heart of the TV industry, and then BBC moved down to Bristol, and Aardman moved to Bristol, and a whole lot of other places just started moving, out of London, where it's much cheaper to live, and your style of living, your quality of life is much higher. So I think that could happen. I've always kind of in the back of my mind always looked for opportunities to move to PE, because I think we could, cut costs a lot. Cape Town's expensive. But,
very. I think the local government must try and make a little plan over here. We've got. We had Ethel Trollope on a little while ago. Maybe he can pull some strings there with the DA now, and try and get some more support for companies like yours. That we could get down here and get the art, get the cultural side going. That's what we need.
I think there's a big opportunity, and but it's going to take a lot of work, and that's kind of what you have to do.
I see a question. Going forward, will innovation work also be done more home-based than office-based? Freelance possibilities and freshly graduated. She's looking for a job, Etheline.
Yes, it's definitely going to be more home-based. We sent everyone home the week before the lockdown was announced, and none of them want to come back. We're quite happy at home. We're productive. We're not distracted. We've got our dogs. We've got
focused.
Everything they want, and they don't want to come back. So it's definitely the future. We'll bring some people back, but it'll be for meetings. But most people will work remotely. And right now we have, I think, about 30 employees all over the world, from Mexico. We've 15 people in the UK working for us.
Wow.
Indonesia.
It's really spread out.
Egypt, Germany.
Holy moly.
New York. So it's now a world. We just went global like that. Suddenly, it's a global industry, and
it's
were
you setting up in Ireland?
Yeah, so we've just set up a studio in Galway on the west coast of Ireland. Again, not wanting to go to Dublin, which was the natural choice. That's where the industry is. But just thinking, let's see if we can go outside. We've always been a bit outside, and we've actually found that the people who stay working for us are people who love Cape Town. They love where they are, and they stay forever. Whereas in a place like Dublin, I guess they would just move around a lot more, and we do want to build strong core. And
so Galway will be better for that.
So cool. Well, I haven't got the accent yet, but I think lilting. So. It's the rain that we'll have to deal with. But we're looking forward
rain and the Catholics. Oh man, and I see. You make use of freelancers at all, particularly in music production?
Yeah, we do. We don't do. Music is a very short part of a film. We work for like the feature film we just made. We spent 3 years making it, and then the music's done in 6 weeks. So it's a very small part of the process. But we do use freelancers, and we usually send out a call for entries. We have a place on our website where composers will register, and then when we do we're looking for people, we send out a mass email and say, okay, we're looking for rigging artists and lighters, and so if anybody's listening,
Triggerfish.co.za.
Yeah, we'll get you there. Then just register on the careers portal, and you'll be able to keep in touch.
Oh man, okay, all right. We're not going to keep you here all night, Stuart. Otherwise, we can talk all night here. But
everybody wants to move on.
Let's see some fans' questions. Ask the famous people that you've met along over the years.
So Jeff Goldblum, we went out to a party with him. I think it was his birthday.
Birthday party with Jeff Goldblum. Nice, impressive.
And then most of the people I've met.
Who's that?
And that guy, Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
He's from the Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon. He's a bit older than he was in Lethal Weapon. He's and then Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. There we go.
Yeah, that's I didn't even know I was in that.
Hey,
John
you met Mr. Incredible.
And Mr. Incredible, yeah.
You met him.
He's famous.
Holy crap.
That's at Pixar.
Pixar.
Brad Bird, I enjoyed having a quick chat with him.
Sure. Gary likes
Peter
Brad
Lord.
Bird.
Yeah, Peter Lord as well. I've talked with him a lot. He was a founder of Artman. Lots.
Okay.
That's quite a few people.
Aardman, is that the one that did the chicken? Was it Chicken Run?
Chicken Run. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Your top 3 favorite animated movies not made by Triggerfish.
Well, if I have to choose a second thing, this Into the Spider-Verse, I think is a incredible film. If you haven't seen it, you have to.
What's Into the
Spider-Verse. So the Spider-Man, the animated Spider-Man, is a masterpiece of filmmaking on every level. Story, design, just really, really beautifully made. And that would be definitely up there. Isle of Dogs, I absolutely love. I love Wes Anderson in anything he does, but the Isle of Dogs is just perfect as a film.
Okay.
So go see that.
2.
And then Miyazaki's kind of anyone, pick any.
Okay.
They're all
Miyazaki.
The
anime stuff.
Anime. Howl's Moving Castle is a great one. I can go on, but I have quite mainstream tastes, so it's usually like I love Pixar's movies and the stuff that really appeals to broad audiences.
You met Lasseter as well, I believe.
Yeah, very briefly. We did an amazing thing with Disney where they took 16 of us over to Los Angeles and kind of gave us an intensive 2-week training on storytelling. And then at the end, they surprised us and took us to the world premiere of Zootopia, and then we got backstage passes. So it was everyone was there, Shakira, the whole cast, and so we just hobnobbed at the backstage with all the famous people, and John Lasseter was there, and and as all the directors from Pixar. It was great.
Lovely. And Harvey Weinstein was there, and everyone was there. we won't go there, okay?
We won't go there. I did pitch Steel Team to the Weinstein Company, but fortunately, they turned it down. So
oh dear, that would have been a problem, Okay, just a couple of final questions, Stewie, before we let you go. Your proudest moment Other than the birth of your kids.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
always says that. You're not allowed to say that.
Birth of my kids. Getting married.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you got to say that.
I think the finishing Zambezia. I think because we didn't know, we really didn't know that if we could do it. I think now I've got a lot more confidence, but a lot of the time making Zambezia, so many people said you can't. It's just it's crazy what you're doing. Everybody. And then finishing it and watching it, we did the sound in Skywalker Sound, which is the best sound facility in the world, and it was just a privilege to be there and watching that first cut with the sound on. And you never know if a movie works until the music's in and the sound's in and the Foley's in and the effects and all that, because up until then it's this kind of weird, is it working? I don't know. I don't quite feel it. And the music comes in and suddenly it's got a heart, and the heart just starts beating. And you watch it and then you realize it works. It's actually it's watchable. And so that's, I think, since then we had ups and downs, but that was a kind of really great moment.
Are there any goals that you would like to still? I mean, obviously there must be goals that you still want to do. There's things that you still want to get right.
We want to win the Oscar in 2022. We're busy working on. I don't think we will win this year. But I think we've got some original shows that we're doing.
Wow.
With a big major studio, and I think they are real Oscar material. So I want to win that, and then I want to do a feature film that competes with the studios for box office and for the Oscar. So first a short film for the next 3 or 4 years, and then a feature film for the next maybe 15 years, and then I can retire.
You're going to retire. You'll hopefully retire when you're on the up, as opposed to when you're in the debt.
That's it. You've got to plan your life so that you retire the day after you've done the thing that you want to do.
The check comes in, and then you retire. Then, okay. Let's just remember that.
And I also encourage people to have a life goal like that, because having said, I actually said the same thing 7 years ago at a big conference, and it was a kind of very public, and the press kind of picked it up and said, "Oh, Triggerfish wants to beat Disney at their own game," and it was like, I didn't really, did I say that? It just came out. But since then, I've gone, how do we reverse engineer that win? If that's where I want to be in 20 years, at that time I said 20 years, what do we need to be in 19 years time to be in a good place to do that? And then where do we need to be in 10 years time to be halfway there, and in 5 years to be halfway to that thing? And I think that cutting it down into little pieces, whatever your goal is, whether it's whatever it is, just kind of come up with like bite size. What I do tomorrow is the last question. Like, what book do I read that just makes me closer to that goal? And it's certainly really well.
Good advice. Well, and Stu, Gary's asking if COVID's affected your plans.
No, actually, it's productivity has gone. We're running about 3 months behind on production of our feature, but it's not a train smash. It's a 3-year project. It's 3 months. It's nothing. So it's a bit harder with setting up in Ireland now, because you have to meet people and no one's meeting anybody. So that's a bit tougher. But otherwise, it's actually given us a little bit of an edge, because it used to be if you were in LA and you could walk into the producer's office, then you had an edge over the people that were in Nebraska or wherever else. Now it doesn't matter. You can live across the road from Disney and have as much access as we have. We just have to wake later, stay up later at night.
Stay up later, like Clyde.
Like
your brother.
Like Clyde, but he, as long as you have a good internet connection, you are as present as anybody in the world. And so this last year, we've had incredible relationship building with Netflix and HBO and all the big studios.
I see 2 questions asking why Ireland.
At the same time.
There were.
So first of all, we do almost all of our work now through London and Amsterdam. So all the Disney work goes through London, all the Netflix work goes through Amsterdam, and so most of my time, and then the rest of the work happens in Los Angeles. And there was a time when I was spending four or five trips a year to Los Angeles. So we needed a European branch, and we needed one that was English speaking, because I'm too old to learn to speak French, and we needed one that was in the EU, because Disney need all their production to happen in the EU. It would have probably would have been the UK, but who knows why?
EU now. How's that?
And so Ireland was the only kind of logical answer. But that said, it's a beautiful country.
No, it is. Galway's beautiful.
And it's stunning. It's arty. Galway's extremely. The music scene is great. It's
University town.
It's university town. You know it well.
Beautiful. Well, not really. I just know about it.
it's a great accent. And the other thing is that they have a very thriving animation industry. It's really growing, and they get a lot of government support and a lot of incentives, and So I'm very excited. We're going to move up at the end of April.
Okay. Oh, really? So you're going to go over there a bit?
For a few years, set up.
Oh, that's lovely, man. That's absolutely lovely. So Barbara saying thank you for Stuart and Gino for a very informative thing. And absolutely, Stuart, you've been fantastic, man. It's just been such a lovely, honest, open thing, and advice for people. It's been amazing. I always ask a couple of questions to my guests before they go. One of the things is either your most embarrassing or your most disastrous gig is normally the thing. But anything that happened that was just a disaster that you laugh at now, or you think about, or maybe you cry now. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I cry about, but I think one of the where I learned a good lesson about journalism once was when a journalist came to interview us, and they did it. He did a tour around the studio, and I was just chatting. It was I can't remember. I think it was the Financial Mail, but I was just chatting to the journalist. That we'd recorded Liam Neeson the night before, and I was just talking to him very openly about that experience as we were. I was showing him the building and where we do this and where we do that, and then we sat down and we had our interview. And he opened. They never get to show you what they wrote, but he opened the article with Liam Neeson is grumpy, says Stuart Forrest, and then. And basically, I was like, when I first read it, I was like you can't do this. It's a kind of high profile magazine, and I learned like everything's on the record. If you talk to a journalist, it's all on the record. So I've learned.
Oh dear. Oh jeez. Well, Leslie Heaney saying what a humble guy. That's Brent Heaney's online. I think Brent Heaney. I haven't heard that name since 1888 or 87. I think he was a year ahead of us. I think Brent Heaney.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely to have everybody online. I think as well.
Yeah,
VP88. We're all here.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for coming. It's just great to see these names come up. And
I know, it's crazy. But Stewie, thank you so much for giving us your time, man. It's been a learning experience for me. It's opens up my whole thoughts on animation. I don't think I'm going to look at any animated thing in the same way as well. It's so much work. It's so hectic, It's a good. We've had a good peek behind the scenes.
Yeah. I'm incredibly blessed to be in a position where we can just do what we love all day, and
your team.
It's an incredible team, and South Africa's got incredible talent, and there's some great PE people who are working for us.
As well down there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Clyde says congrats to you as well. Oh my word! Where is Clyde? Where is your brother? Where is he in Canada?
He's in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay. Oh, legend. Oh, thank you, Stuart, man. You're an absolute legend, and PE is super proud of you just because you're a PE boykie as well.
Yeah, you're the legend, but I'm honored to be part of this show. Thank you.
Thanks, Stewie. We're going to have the competition now. We're going to do a giveaway of Fitch and Leeds. I'll send you a case of Fitch and Leeds as well. Just give you your address, that we can do it. But thank you for coming on, and I really appreciate it. Thanks to Gwen as well for allowing you away from and the kids. You can let them out the basement now.
I'll let them out now. I'll unlock the door.
Thanks, Stewie.
So
Cheers, man. Ciao. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the ones that are left, well, there is a competition now. You can win if you're right here and you get on your keyboard, okay? Because it's the first one to write the name of the song and the name of the artist in the comments, and I've taken an 80s tune because just because class of '88. Okay, so I'm on the drum cam. Got a drum cam. Where's the drum cam? Here we go. All right. Name of the artist and the tune in the comments, and you can win a Fitch and Leeds. All right, let's go. And we got a winner. This is Andre Nell. You are the winner, Andre. Well done. Show's over and it's time to say goodbye. All right. Remember that thank you to Stuart. Thank you to Stuart and everybody at Triggerfish for making us proud. And thank you, Stewie, for spending your time with us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to Spa. Thank you to Fitch and Leeds. And thank you to Emubia. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Saturday, we've got animals. If you love animals, we're supporting all the animal cruelty. We've got the SPCA, we've got animal welfare, we've got everybody here. The horse unit even, I think. We've got everybody. Carol Ann Keller is helping us out. Woo!
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot. Gino's spot. Get to Gino's spot.